To begin, the first step is obviously to download the Unreal Engine. To do so, we'll need the Epic Game Launcher, available through their official website, link in the description. After opening up the launcher, we'll go to the Unreal Engine tab on the left. And then through the top tabs, we'll go to the library. And here, by pressing the plus sign, we'll be able to select which Unreal Engine version we want to install. And obviously, I already have installed the latest version that is available, so that's what I'm going to go with. Since you don't have any engine downloaded just yet, just make sure to select the latest version available to you and click install. And to launch the Unreal Engine, it's just as simple as clicking the launch button. Once you press the launch button, Unreal Project Browser will pop up. Here you can go to Recent Projects tab to see any project that is available. Or if you're into film industry, here's any film industry related template available to you. But for our project's sake, we'll go to the Games tab and select the blank template. We'll stick with Blueprint for this project. Make sure desktop and maximum quality presets selected and check the starter content just so we have a little bit of content pack to play around with. You can name your project. I would just say first project and we can hit create. Now let's go over how to navigate the user interface and what are all these windows do. The first thing that might caught your eyes is most definitely the biggest window in the engine. Right in the center, we have the Viewport. This is your 3D workspace where you will build and visualize your game world. You can click to select any object in your view, drag to turn, and even fly around the game world using WASD. We will dive deeper into navigating this in just a bit. On top of the Viewport, you'll see the toolbar, which gives you quick access to the essential tools like the play button, the save button, and a drop-down menu where we can add simple actors into the game world. Here, I'll just simply drag and drop the cube mesh into our game scene. Right below the viewport, at the bottom of our screen, we have the content browser or the content drawer. It is collapsed by default, and to bring it open, we can simply click on the tab, or alternatively, we can use the shortcut Ctrl plus space. Content browser is basically Windows File Explorer built into the Unreal Engine by default. You can create folder, simply right click and select create folder. And you can rename just like File Explorer. This is where you will find all the models, textures, and even sound files for your game. Now, let me just quickly go through the starter content folder where we enabled during our project creation and go to maps and select the minimal default level. Close down the content browser by using the same shortcut Ctrl plus space and move to the right where you will find the outliner. Outliner is similar to Unity Engine's hierarchy window, which is essentially a list of all the objects currently make up your scene. Think of it as a quick way to select, organize, and manage everything in your viewport. This is very helpful when you want to select an object but can't find it in the viewport. You can select multiple objects by holding down Ctrl and left click, or if you want to select a segment of the object in the list, just simply hold down Shift and select the final item. Now, right below the outliner, we have the details panel. This is where you can customize the properties of selected objects. For example, you can adjust the object size, material, or behavior from here. As you can see, I have selected the chair on the right, and if I want to make the chair a little bit taller along the Z-axis, I can go to scale and simply drag to a value that suits my need. Now, obviously, we don't want our chair to look like this, so I'm just going to hit the revert button to reset the property value to the default. Now that I have went over the user interface, maybe we can make some adjustment to the user interface based on our personal preference. If you have some Unity Engine experience and you have got used to their default look, which where outliner will be on the left of the viewport, you can just simply hold down the outliner tab and drag drop to the left side of the viewport. And maybe if you want to save up some screen real estate by getting rid of the tab tags, because at the end of the day, if you keep using the same tab, you will know what they do. So you don't want to read the outliner over and over again. You can simply right click and press hide tab. And because here we have details tab and the world setting docked to the same side, we cannot hide the tab name. Now maybe you are tired of Control plus space over and over again to bring up the content drawer and collapsing down. all you want to do is just dock it to the bottom of your screen permanently, all you have to do is open up the content drawer with Control plus space, and on the top right you will see Dock in Layout button. Simply press that, Control plus space again, and now you can see Content Browser is permanently docked into the bottom of your screen. Now, that's not how I prefer it, so just close the tab. Very simple. Now, for some reason, while you are navigating through the user interface and trying to find the perfect layout for you, and you ended up in a mess similar to this that I have created, and you want to go back to the default layout that is provided to you at the start of the video, simply go to Windows on the top of your screen and go all the way down to Low Layout, and you can just click on the default layout just like that. Now, obviously, these windows on our screen are not the only windows that we might be using in the near future. So if there's any windows that I will be covering in the future videos that is not on your screen, all you have to do is go to the Windows tab on top and find the appropriate window that you want to select. And here, as you can see, after we reset the layout to the default, the World Setting tab had disappeared. So we're going to go back to the Windows tab, go to the World Setting tab, click it, and here it is. It's back like how we started. Now that the user interface is out of the way, let's go back to the movement section where I'll teach you how to navigate your viewport. Hold down your right mouse button, and with that being held, you can use WASD to fly around your viewport. This will sound very familiar if you're used to first-person video games. Pressing Q and E will achieve the up and down motion. Now, if you think your movement is very fast or slow in the viewport, you can simply go to the top right and adjust the camera speed. Or alternatively, you can hold down the right mouse button and use the scroll wheel to adjust your speed. Now, for any reason, if you are flying or navigating through your game scene and ended up in a situation where you can't find your game object or can't find our starting point, as I mentioned earlier, you can select the set object in your outliner and simply press the F shortcut, snap back to the selected object. This is going to be very handy in a bigger game development project. Now that with the chair being selected, we can rotate the camera around the selected object by holding down the Alt key and use our left mouse button. This is going to be very useful if you want to look around your game object and make some minor adjustments. To manipulate an object in your game scene, it's very simple. As I mentioned earlier, you can change the properties of an object through the Details panel, where you can change its location, rotation, and even the scales. But you can do all of this and more on the viewport as well. For example, by default, we can move the selected object by dragging the widget on our screen. The blue axis is our Z-axis, the yellow is Y-axis, and red is the X-axis. What if you want to rotate the object? Simply go to the top, select the Rotate button, and we can rotate the object along the axes. W will be the movement, E will be the rotation, and R will be the scale. Here I can scale the chair along the Z-axis, along the Y-axis, or along all the axes uniformly. Now, if you want to revert back to the default value after some of the changes that you don't feel satisfied, you can go back to the Details panel and simply click on the Reset button.